What's going on, you guys? I hope you all are doing well. Today I'm going to be briefly showing you how I sidechain compress my kicks and 808s with one another. I'm going to be using a beat that I did recently off of Marr Grey's project Rider as an example. The song is called On the Way. So yeah, the process in which I do this is not hard, it's not long. I'm just it's just two plugins that I'm going to be using, one being the Fruity Peak controller and the other being the Fruity limiter to serve as a compressor on the 808. So nonetheless, let's go ahead and get started. I'm going to play you a little bit of the beat, then I'm going to go from there and show you the kick and the 808 sidechaining. Okay, cool. Song's pretty dope. I'd highly advise checking it out if you haven't heard it already. But nonetheless, let's go ahead and get started. I'm going to go ahead and play a section of the verse of the song, but I want you to pay attention to the volume knob of the 808 and how it's being automated whenever the kick hits. So I turned off all of the instruments and all of the other percussion elements of the song, so that way we can solely focus in on the kick and the 808. Okay, so one key or one tip of advice I suggest if you want to achieve a punchy kick within your mix is, first of all, just having a punchy kick to begin with. Like for this kick, for example, Kick Blown, I think it's from a Foreign Tech kit, I'm not sure which one. But yeah, it's already pretty punchy and pretty thumpy in its own right. That way I didn't do any mixing in terms of EQing with it. All I did was throw a peak controller on that channel, which leads me to the peak controller. So with this, I usually route my 808 or even my synth basses to it. That way I have control over how much of the kick is being how much of the kick is being pushed through the 808, and you will see the 808 volume reduce every time the kick hits. So when you open the plugin, it's going to look like this, and we're going to be focusing on the peak section, not the LFO section of it, but just the peak. I created a custom preset, so if you want to copy these knobs over here, it should be the same within FL12 and FL11, although the layout may look a little bit different. But the knobs, the bass, volume, tension, and the decay are all going to be the same. Once I have this, I just load up the preset, go over to my 808 insert track, and then right click on the volume knob, go to link to controller. Under internal controller, you want to click on the drop down peak control peak, select that, and then go to accept. Now the 808 is linked to the peak controller, and here just adjust the knobs as I see fit. Again, I may have it's going to depend on what kind of 808 or what kind of bass I have. Like some 808s are going to be more distorted and more louder than others, so again, it just depends on what you got. And as you can see here, every time the kick is hitting within the 808, you will see the volume of the 808 reduce. And again, I can adjust these knobs as I see fit. If I don't want to hear the 808, reduce the bass. That way I get more kick. I'm going to go back up. If I want to decay, you even see how it's more of a slope, like a more smoother slope rather. And yeah, so again, it's just going to depend on personal preference. This is just mine. I usually don't mess with these settings since I already have a preset for it. Just drop in the kick that I'm using, slap the 808 to it, and then it works. So okay, so that's one technique. The other that I like to do is sidechain the kick to the 808. And to do this, you want to highlight your kick, but then on the 808 insert track, go down here, right click, and then hit sidechain to this track. And now on this track, you want to throw a fruity limiter on it. That's how we're going to be looking at the compression in work. So once you open this, you want to go to the compression tab under sidechain. You can either scroll up, or you can right click and click on the sound that you have. For this, I have a kick. Okay, so with this, you want to tone or tune in on the threshold and the ratio. Like for instance, I'm just going to lower the ratio here, the threshold, excuse me. And we can see how the kick is coming through. Now, the more that I lower the threshold, it won't matter unless I set a ratio to it. Okay? Just make sure you have a ratio set to it, because you're going to hear once I lower this ratio, it's going to essentially put a cap on the 808 volume. And you can hear how much of the 808 is being compressed once I add the ratio to it. Now, if I don't want the 808 to be compressed that much, what I'm going to do is just raise the threshold and then adjust the volumes that way. Again, I don't have any specific details in terms of, oh yeah, you need to lower it this much and it's going to sound like this. Honest to God, I just say, trust your ear. So now I'm just going to turn on the other percussion elements. That way we get a reference. Now say I use this compression, turn it off, and I still have the peak controller working. So either or, both techniques, if you want to call it that, they work, because they're both essentially doing the same thing. Okay, cool. So yep, that's pretty much it. Again, I don't usually do a whole lot in terms of sidechaining the kick and 808 with one another. Just all about trusting my ear, trusting how I level everything, and going from there. So hope you guys enjoyed this. Hopefully I taught you something. If not, I'm sorry. If you have any suggestions in terms of sidechaining and even something else, feel free to let me know. Leave a comment, hit me up. All my socials will be in the description. And yeah, I hope you all have a great night or a great afternoon. Thank you.